somewhere in the world, Dan is walking. And today, he's talking to you. I'm Laura. Welcome to Walk and Talk with Dan Watkins. In today's episode, Dan will walk you through how to take an honest look at the health of your revenue. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Now, let's jump into it.
Hey, so I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. We are on our second layover, on the 24-hour trip coming back from Brazil to Utah. And airport's great. Airport food's fine. And it is one hell of a trip, but we're here to talk about something different. So we're going to talk about this time of year, what's the right thing as heads of sales, sales leaders, and CEOs, founders, and early stage startups to be going and thinking about. The concept works. Most of this work we actually do for Series B and above companies. So B to E is the most common, and it's what I call state of the revenue. I'm going to walk you through how you can do it on your own. If you don't want to do it on your own, give me a call. But essentially what it is you need to go in and study several things. Number one, you need to go figure out, and these metrics I'm not going to spend a lot of time on. I want you to go look them up on your own. If you got any questions, ping me. Happy to help. But first is you're going to look up your sales and marketing magic number. That's going to go tell you if your sales team is completely inefficient, you need to do a drastic overhaul. Inefficient, but with slight tweaks, you can get there. Efficient, or you should be piling money into it. One of those four. It's clear metrics on that and guidelines. Look at that. If you're doing more than 100 million in revenue a year, you should also be looking at the rule of 40, because that will also give you a really good efficiency metric on how your business is doing, growth relative to how much you're burning, how much you're growing, etc. Then I want you to go and do is I want you to plot every person within your revenue organization, sales, customer success, SDRs, how hard they're working. I recommend pipeline generation metrics as that axis, and that's the x-axis. Y-axis, quota attainment. And so that's going to be how much revenue they're closing relative to quota. X-axis, roll it over the last 90 days. Y-axis, do it over the last 3 quarters plus current quarter's pace. Then what I want you to go in and take a look at is your spans of control. How many people do you have per leader? If you find yourself less than 5, you probably you have too many leaders, not enough people actually getting the work done. If you find yourself greater than 8, too many people, not enough leaders. Then what I want you to go look at is your employee attrition. If your employee attrition average rate is 42% right now in sales, annualized. So take a look at that. Then what I want you to go take a look at is your different sources of pipeline, and I want you to go chart where those pipeline sources are from. The 5 core sources of pipeline that you should be looking at are SDR outbound generated, AE, or the account executive or salesperson themselves, outbound generated, marketing or inbound generated, partnerships, and then customer success. I'm going to give you a rough guideline on each of those metrics. There's not a lot published on this, but this is a core area that we really dig into, so we can go see the health of the different streams of pipeline that you have coming in. So you want to be looking at, do you have any pipeline at all coming in from partners? Up to 10% if you're a traditional company that runs its own sales process. If you are predominantly channel, then you should be looking at and kind of taking the reverse of this. So you can have, even on a channel generated organization, I don't recommend that ever becomes more than 50% of your business, because you don't have enough control of your destiny. But I'm going to go with those that are not primarily channel driven. And so 10% coming from the partner channel, up to 25. Next, customer success. You want at least 30% of your pipeline coming from upsell, cross-sell opportunities, where you can take a current customer and expand your revenue footprint with them. Ideally, worst case, 20% up to 35%. Next, outbound SDR, 20 to 30%. AE self-generated, 20 to 40%. Marketing, 30 to 40%. And what you're going to go do is you're going to go take a look at each of those different sources of pipeline, see where you're at, compare them against that. Once you have all of those metrics that we just talked about, you're going to have a good understanding of your state of revenue. The last thing you need is emotion. I've developed my own employee engagement version specifically for sales that are highly predictive for whether or not a salesperson, marketing person, or customer success person is actually loyal and engaged to your business. Slightly different than traditional employee engagement metrics. But if if you're not working with me, you're doing your own, use employee engagement. Go in and use that on your employees so you can go in and see how engaged they are. When you go in and you take all that, you can use industry benchmarks plus the benchmarks I just gave you, and that will go in and tell you how efficient your sales org is. It also starts to become really clear what you need to go focus on. I hope this is helping everybody as you're kicking off this quarter and that it works well for you and you get exactly what you need. If you need any help, give me a buzz.
This podcast is sponsored by Database, your partner in building revenue teams that actually perform.